Hey guys, this is Hunt for Games. Wildstar has been out for almost a week now as free to play, and it's been a pretty rough start. It was a few days before I could even get in to play at all, and once I did, the lag was so unbearable I had to stop. And I feel like that's been a lot of people's experience. So Carbine's been working rally clock to try and fix that, added 2 temporary servers that will need to be merged to alleviate that. And honestly, I started a new character on the second version of the PvP server, and since I have, it's been fine. That was Friday afternoon, and it's been a great experience so far. So, I've already given some impressions of the launch itself last week in a video, and I followed that up with my impressions of the changes so far since the original version, just in general. And so I think I'm going to do something a little different for the next few videos. So I can tell that I'm already hooked on Wildstar. I've been playing it constantly. I'm really enjoying the breadth of content. I even tried PvP, which is normally not for me, and I'm having a blast with it. So instead of just playing it for a month and then getting back to you guys and being like, so here's the past month, what I think I'm going to do is put out a video every 5 to 10 levels for each range, kind of discuss the content that they open up in that range and how the game feels as you progress. I feel like it's a better way to approach an MMO, one of those consistent kind of games that you're going to keep playing for a while, is how well can it keep your attention? Does it feel fresh? Does it feel engaging 10, 20, 30, 40 levels in? So let's get to it. So this is for levels 10 to 15 of Wildstar. I've been playing an Esper, leaning more towards the support, healing style of play. I always do this in the hopes that I'll get a bunch of friends that I can wrangle into playing the game with me by saying, like, I'll be your healer, don't worry, be whatever you want. And inevitably they quit, and then I'm left as just my healer self. I'm already actually seen to struggle by like level 15 when I really push towards the support style gear. I am struggling a little bit more to kill things quickly and efficiently. So we'll see how that balances out. But so 10 to 15, how's it been feeling? You know, you're still getting a lot of new early stuff, some new abilities that really are adding some different options to how I play the class. I'm way past the point where there are only 8 abilities I can use, which was actually only at 10 that you finally unlocked the last slot. And already at that point, you had more than 8 abilities to use, so you really have to pick and choose from day one what abilities work for your playstyle, what can you get away with as far as support versus just total damage, and as a healer, what healing abilities do I need for different scenarios? So it continues to branch out and get a little bit more exciting in the choice perspective. And then amps. So as soon as you hit level 10, you unlock amps, and I believe you get 7 to start with. So that, if you put them all into one category, 3 into the tier 1 section of any one category will unlock tier 2, and tier 2 is where things get a little more interesting. I already can see that a lot of the choice in this game about how you play and your play style will be determined by what amps you use from the tier 2, and I'm assuming tier 3 categories. What did I pick? I can't remember what. I went between the support and assault, thinking that would help me solo and help in groups, but I don't remember what the tier 2 amp that I picked was. I'll have to find out. The new content, level 10, as in with a lot of MMOs, they're kind of like, all right, you've been playing for 10 levels, let's get you in some group content. And Wildstar's no different. They hit you with the Proto Game Academy, which honestly is really awesome. It's a really simple, I don't even think you'd call it a dungeon. It's sort of just 4 stages of boss fights, where they introduce you to various concepts such as simple things like don't stand in the red, get out of area of effect attacks, and just introduce you to like some chaotic systems where it's like, okay, so there's a lot of things flying around that you can't really attack or do anything about, but they will damage you. Just avoid them and keep attacking the boss. They introduce you to interrupt armor, and just the concept of interrupting bosses' attacks. A really great way to introduce new players to what Wildstar is all about, and without scaring them off with an initial dungeon or something, you just hit him with a boss and be like, all right, so this is what a boss is going to look like. These are some of the things you might have to deal with. This is what you should do. I think it's a great idea, and it was actually a lot of fun. The final boss is really chaotic, and I went through it once. We beat it, but I died right at the end and didn't get credit for the quest. So I was like, whatever, I'll do it again. So did it again. There's great drops. Had no qualms about doing it again. It was a lot of fun. And we died. We actually totally wiped. One of the damage dealers kind of fell over. I don't know if they lagged out or something. Anyways, it's not the easiest thing. Like, even the first level 10 tutorial dungeon, you gotta focus. You gotta pay attention. I think that's awesome. It was great. They also, by I think it was level 12, introduced you to the second expedition into space. These little expedition adventures you can queue up for in the content finder, which, by the way, works great. I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes, but I have been doing that as a healer, and that might be affecting my queue times. I should try as a DPS sometime just to get a feel for that. Second expedition was a little bit different than the first. The first was really simple, and I mean, it should have been. It was like, what, level 6 or 8 or something. You run through and kill a mindless number of enemies. The first time I did it accidentally by myself. It's not hard. It's kind of fun. It's humorous. You're blasting away at like 100 of these little alien creatures. Second one required some healing. That could have been just due to our level, our equipment not being that great. But these things were hitting us kind of hard, and I was glad that I was there as a healer and could keep us up, and I didn't have any trouble with that. But if I had been trying to do one of my DPS builds with none of my healing abilities, we probably would have gone down. Next, there's the PvP Battlegrounds is added to your content finder. And this appears to be similar to the way, I can't compare it to anything else, the way World of Warcraft did their PvP, like capture the flag and the team deathmatch. I didn't really play WoW really. They have the level range where it was like 20 to 29, you can do that one, 30 to 39. So up to 15, 14? Up to 14 is the, I think it's like level 6 to 14 is the first PvP Battlegrounds. And it's kind of like capture the flag with these masks, but there are multiple masks. I actually don't know how the mask system works. I've played it like 3 or 4 times now, and I've only held a mask one time, because I always go in as a healer, and it's so much fun to heal these large groups of like 8 people. When you're actually fighting like real players, I had a blast doing it. It's actually really hard for me to stop. You get great gear from it, you get experience, ton of rewards, and it's just fun. It's goofy fun. So I did that a bunch of times, but I still don't really understand. I know you pick up the mask and you gotta take them back to your base, but I don't really know where they spawn. I guess they spawn at the enemy base. I'm not sure. Tons of fun. I really encourage you to check it out. The content finder makes it all super easy to jump in and just do that. Not a lot of communication. I found that the expeditions, the Proto Games Academy dungeon boss simulator thing, both of those parties I did were very talkative, very like, hey, this is cool, this is whatever, like, don't do that, you're an idiot. Everyone was actually really nice. I kept trying to say like, hey, what's up guys, what's going on in PvP before it even started. Silence, just crickets. Nobody. Speaking of crickets, there might be a cricket in here. I think I keep hearing one, so really sorry if that's coming across on the audio. But yeah, nobody was really feeling like talking to PvP. I don't know, I guess that's fine. I'm also on the PvP server, so I'm interested to see how the open world PvP works. As an Esper with some of those crowd control utility spells that get a lot of could be a lot of fun. So let's hope that ends up being a thing, and not just kind of like dead zones where nobody fights each other. So last thing I can say about the like level 10 to 15 period is level 14. Level 14, they hit you with Ilium, the main city, I think, of the Dominion side. I'm not sure what the Exile version of Ilium is. They tell you to go. You can get there via one of the taxis. Takes a few minutes, not a big deal. And it's huge. It's massive. It's like any kind of like hub, massive city in an MMO. But they have this awesome system of these like tour guides that take you around a little motorized hover bike kind of thing, and they're like, here's like the vendor station, here's your housing station, here's this, here's the auction house, which by the way, there's like nothing on the auction house yet. That may be because it's a totally new server, but I was kind of surprised to see essentially no gear at all, at least for my level range. It is a brand new server though, so that could be tying into that. So yeah, I thought it was a really good system. There were 3 separate quests, one leading right into the other, but you didn't have to keep going if you're kind of a little tired of the tutorial explanation of like, this is what a city is, this is where the auction house is, this is a bank. But it was cool. It was over pretty quick, and now I feel like much more comfortable with the city overall. Plus, I knew exactly where to go for the vendor for the mounts, and the regular mounts all costed like 10 gold, and it said I needed to be level 15, which I thought was a little weird because I could rent a mount for like 5 silver for 2 hours, but immediately right next to him is the hoverboard vendor, which would sell me a nice little pink hoverboard, totally reminiscent of Back to the Future 2, which, by the way, we're actually getting close. I'm sure everybody's aware of this, but October 21st, 2015. So we are 2015. Did I say that right? No, I don't think I did. 2015. Anyways, 2015. Why do I suck so bad? We are almost there, and it really felt great to have a pink hoverboard. So I bought it. It was like all the money I had in my character, but whatever. I don't think it's that much. It is a blast because it flies around. It hovers on water, which is totally goes against Back to the Future 2. Anyways, that's about it for 10 to 15. Like I said, I'm having a great time. Really nothing bad to say about the game itself now that the issues are resolved with connection and server queues and everything. I've been getting on immediately. I mean, resolved at least for my server and my situation. Anyways, yeah, let me know in the comments if you like this this style of me kind of reviewing each section of the game. I think it'll be a good way for me to discuss the different content that I'm approaching, and without getting too nitty gritty into like just PvP. Although I've been having a lot of fun with PvP, and once open world PvP kind of opens up, I might do a video on just that. But let me know in the comments, what do you think? If you've been playing Wildstar, what your thoughts on Wildstar have been? What classes you're playing? If you're doing PvP, what classes you're doing for that? I could definitely use some advice in that spec. And yeah, definitely like the video if you liked it. Please subscribe for more. I've got plenty of Wildstar videos coming. I'm having a blast with it. And yeah, thanks for watching.